Welcome to the Chronicle Reports. I am your host, Chronicle. Today, we delve into a crisis as ancient as the soil of the Middle East, yet as modern as the geopolitical shifts of the 21st century. It's the story of a nation once destined for greatness, now teetering on the edge of a literal and metaphorical precipice. Today, we analyze why Iran is dying of thirst and why the Ayatollah regime may be facing its most lethal enemy, yet not a foreign army, but the absence of water. To understand the gravity of the present, we must first look to the past. More than 2,500 years ago, the Persian king, Darius the Great, uttered a prayer that was eventually engraved upon his tomb, a warning that resonates with haunting precision today. He prayed, "May God protect this country from enemies, drought, and lies." From a linguistic and cultural perspective, this triad, enemies, drought, and lies, represents the three pillars of national collapse in Persian history. Drought is not merely an environmental concern in this region. It is a historical driver of migration, conflict, and the rise and fall of empires. Today, the enemies are perceived at the borders. The lies are seen in government mismanagement, and the drought has become an existential reality. Let us examine the facts. We are currently witnessing the sixth consecutive year of extreme drought in Iran. During the summer of 2025, temperatures in Tehran approached a staggering 50 degrees Celsius. The infrastructure is not merely strained, it is collapsing. The Amir Kabir Reservoir, a primary water source for the capital, recently dried up to just 8% of its capacity. Even more alarming, much of that remaining 8% is classified as dead water, sediment-heavy liquid that cannot be pumped, purified, or consumed. The situation reached such a critical juncture that the Iranian government openly discussed the evacuation of a metropolitan hub of nearly 10 million people. Imagine the logistical and humanitarian nightmare of evacuating a city larger than London because the taps have run dry. At one point, it was estimated that the capital had only 7 days of drinking water remaining. Now, let's analyze the argument often presented by the authorities. The regime frequently blames climate change or water waste by the citizenry as the primary culprits. While it's true that rain tracks are shifting northward and temperatures are rising, a comparative analysis reveals a different truth. Look at Israel or the United Arab Emirates. These nations face similar, if not harsher, climatic conditions. Yet, water flows freely due to decades of investment in desalination and advanced water management. In contrast, the Ayatollahs have prioritized a resistance economy aimed at surviving international sanctions. This policy of strategic self-sufficiency mandated that 85% of food be produced locally. In an arid nation, this led to the expansion of water-intensive crops like rice. To sustain this, the government allowed the drilling of 1 million wells, some reaching depths of 200 meters. The result? Aquifers have been sucked dry, leading to a phenomenon known as subsidence. The very ground of Iran is sinking, destroying infrastructure and ruining the fertility of the soil in a process that looks like a slow-motion earthquake. To understand the potential of what has been lost, we must look at the contemporary history of Iran's economy. In 1977, the last normal year before the Islamic Revolution, Iran's economy was 26% larger than Turkey's and 65% larger than South Korea's. Today, the South Korean economy is 4 times larger than Iran's. The tragedy lies in Iran's potential. The country holds 5% of the world's metal reserves, including strategic minerals like copper, zinc, and gold. It sits in a wind belt perfect for energy exploitation and possesses some of the highest solar energy potential on the planet. Yet, these resources remain underutilized because the regime's budgetary priorities lie elsewhere, in missile programs, nuclear development, and funding regional allies like Hezbollah to the tune of $1 billion in a single year. This is where the geopolitics of water meets the survival of the state. The regime's structural blackmail is simple. They cannot cut water to the agricultural sector because it supports millions of rural families. To cut their water is to invite immediate, violent protest. To continue the current path is to run the entire nation out of water. Furthermore, the external pressure is mounting. The Iranian rial has plummeted to historic lows, 1.25 million to the dollar, and inflation is hovering near 50%. European diplomats and intelligence reports suggest that 2026 could be a definitive turning point, with some speculating on the possibility of an Israeli strike or an internal political earthquake triggered by the collapsing economy and the environmental crisis. As we conclude this report, we return to the prayer of Darius. A nation cannot survive on cloud seeding and prayer alone when its structural foundations are eroding. The men in black turbans are finding that while they can suppress a protest with force, they cannot suppress the laws of physics or the necessity of hydration. Is the end of the Ayatollah regime approaching? Will 2026 be the year that marks the definitive turning point for the Persian people? The history of the 21st century is being written in the dry beds of Iran's reservoirs. I am Chronicle, and this has been the Chronicle Reports. If you found this analysis insightful, ensure you are subscribed for more in-depth reporting on the forces shaping our world. Stay informed, stay vigilant.